Hello. Hello. Bienvenidos a todos. Welcome to the 2021 Latinx Kidlit Book Festival. This is the draw-off panel, Chicas Maravillosas, illustrating vibrant characters. If you would, please take a moment to read the anti-harassment policy of this festival in the chat box, wherever it might be. I am Adriana Hernandez Bergstrom, author illustrator of the book Abuelita and I Make Flan, which comes out next year from Charlesbridge Publishing, and I will be moderating this draw-off today. So, how it works, people who are watching live, you get to submit drawing prompts as we explore how these wonderful illustrators create their characters. Feel free to join in and share your drawings on social media with the hashtag LKBF2021. While we're drawing, we're going to discuss agency, beauty, and the power of girls. Today, we're here with Yesenia Moises, Magdalena Mora, and Elizabeth Lilly.
Hi.
Hello, hello. While I introduce them, our artists are going to be drawing themselves as a superhero character. So go ahead and get started, and then I'm going to read your intro and ask you a little bit about your book. So, Elizabeth Lilly is a biracial Latina author illustrator based in the Washington, D.C. area. She is the author illustrator of Geraldine, a picture book about a lonely giraffe girl in a school full of human kids, and Let Me Fix You a Plate, a picture book about her family's two cultures and the way that both sides share their love through food. Elizabeth also makes animated short films and teaches illustration and drawing at Towson University. Wow. You can find her online at www.elizabeth-lilly.com and on Twitter at Elizabeth M. Lilly and on Instagram at Elizabeth M. Lilly. Okay, Elizabeth, could you tell us a little bit about Let Me Fix You a Plate?
Yeah, I can. So I have it here. And like I said in the intro, thank you. It's about my two sides of my family. So my dad is white American. He's from West Virginia, and my mom is Colombian. And growing up, we would go on this long road trip from home in Maryland to West Virginia to Florida in little Puerto Rico kind of area of Orlando. Because my grandparents also lived in Puerto Rico for a time, and a lot of my family is Puerto Rican. So we would always, like, at each house just have so much love and food that we would share. Even when we didn't have quite the right words to speak with each other, we could always show that we cared through food. So, yeah.
I love that. I loved your book, by the way. I loved the watercolor and pen and ink style. It's really lovely.
Thank you.
Yeah. So that was Let Me Fix You a Plate. And then, okay, Magdalena Mora over on yeah, there she is. Hello. Magdalena Mora is a Minneapolis-based illustrator and graphic designer with a special interest in children's books and visual storytelling. She is most recently the illustrator for I Wish You Knew by Jackie Azua Kramer, and also illustrated Equality's Call by Deborah Deason. When she's not drawing, Magdalena spends her free time reading, people gawking, and trying to find the best tacos in the Twin Cities, mostly searching for the best tacos, which I love. Her website is www.magdalenamora.com, and she can be found on Twitter and Instagram at Magdalena Draws, on Instagram magdalena.i.mora. Could you tell us a little bit more about your latest book, I Wish You Knew?
Yeah, so I Wish You Knew, it tells the story of a young girl, Estrella, and her father has been recently deported. And so she is going throughout the school day, wishing that her teacher and her classmates knew how this is affecting her. And then, you also get into the stories of some of her other classmates who are struggling with issues like family separation and food and housing insecurity. But ultimately, I think the book is about the power of community and finding meaningful connections in school. And I know that for both Jackie, the author, Jackie Azora Kramer, and the author and myself, we both come from families who have immigrated to the U.S. And so I think we both drew on those experiences to help tell this story.
It was really moving. I read it and I was like, oh, it was really, really moving because I'm also from, oh, hello from Central Falls. I also come from, my family's Cuban. I'm like both sides. And yeah, and it was a very interesting, like always knowing that there's family like somewhere else. Do you know what I mean? Like there's like a feeling of distance, and then you connect, whenever you can through the phone or letters or whatever. But it always felt really, yeah. school was an interesting place because we had a lot of people like me. But yes, I loved your book, and I think it's so relevant. So check it out, people. All right. Next, we have Yesenia Moises. Yesenia Moises is an Afro-Latina illustrator and designer with a specialty in product design. Her work proudly portrays people of diverse backgrounds playing leading roles in fantasy adventures that are brimming with color, and that is not an exaggeration. Yesenia is the illustrator of Honey Smoke, a story of finding your color, and most recently, Stella's Stellar Hair, which is her first picture book as both author and illustrator. Her website is yeseniamoises.com, and you can find her at Yesenia Draws on both Instagram and Twitter. Could you tell us a little bit about Stella's Stellar Hair, your first book as both author and illustrator?
Well, Stella's Stellar Hair is a very personal story in the sense that it's about this young Black girl who goes on an interplanetary journey across the solar system to get help with her hair from her 9 fabulous space aunties. And for the longest, like, I didn't really like my hair as it was, because, like, in a lot of Latinx cultures in general, you know, we're taught to really appreciate the loose body wave that you see in like the telenovelas and whatnot. And like that didn't look like what came out of my head. So like my mom would always straighten it. So for
no.
so for years I didn't even know what my hair looked like. And so as I went through the process of like growing out like the chemically treated hair and cutting it off and seeing like what my hair actually was, I realized that like a lot of young girls right now are still going through the same thing I went through. When if they have textures that are a lot tighter, a lot curlier, a lot kinkier than what's portrayed in the media as like beautiful. So I wanted to create a story that showed off, you know, that their hair is beautiful too, that their hair is cool, that their hair is stellar.
I loved it. I loved how your story took us through, I don't know how many gorgeous styles, like versions of almost like alternatives of what Stella could do with her hair. I loved it. I thought it was so sweet. Every aunt had like a solution, but it was not until she found her own like vision for herself that, you know, she like comes to self-realization essentially. I loved it. I thought it was super sweet, and I am a huge fan of your colors.
Oh, thank you.
I love them.
Thank you.
It's rainbow magic. Yes. You see, I'm not the only one. My daughter loves Honey Smoke. I love your use of color. That's so sweet, Mariana. Thank you for sharing that.
Thank
Okay.
you.
So, are we ready to take a request yet? Do we have any requests? Yes. Oh wait, first let's show your versions of yourself as superheroes. We'll go in reverse order. Yesenia, can you show us your superhero you?
I mean, it's hard to show like actual like I think I have probably telepathy like as a superpower, but um for the most part, I'm into like the bodysuit and the cape, which is what we've got
Yes.
going on here.
The accessories. I love it. Very, very, very cute. Magdalena, tell us about your superhero you.
Yeah, so maybe you can't see it, but my superhero me is wearing overalls because that's typically what I'm in, and then holding a paintbrush because I feel like
Love
art
it.
is the closest thing I have to a superpower. So
Yes. I love it. I love it. She's so sweet. Ah, you draw the sweetest faces. Elizabeth?
I'm a little bit weird with mine. I always thought that my superpower, like I wanted it to be able to be really tiny because I love like mice and like stories that are set in like a tiny world, and like so I'm tiny and this is a mushroom, these are like flowers, and I'm hanging out with like mice and like a little bug.
A
So
ladybug, that's so cute. Shrinking ability. The ability
yeah.
to shrink on command. Oh, that's super cool. That's so stealth. I love it. I love it. All right. Oh, of course, someone's going to ask for like my weakness, which is they would love to see a horse. All right. Let me put 90 seconds on. I'm like, ugh. I know I always get asked to do unicorns too. And I'm like, no, there's something about those haunches that are so hard.
Yeah. I used to draw horses all the time when I was little, so hopefully I can like bring that
All right.
middle
I'm
school.
starting. Yeah, me too. I used to draw ponies all
Oh
the time.
gosh.
All right. I'm pressing start.
Horses? Can it be a unicorn?
It can be a unicorn. I'm just gonna say a four-legged, like horse-like creature.
Okay.
Okay, go.
No, it's not like too big.
I love it. So I'm just gonna like chat like randomly. First, I'm gonna draw my horse super fast because, you know, why not? and it's going to be ugly. I'm so sorry. Actually, no, she's going to be cute.
What
All
do
right,
horse
there's
ears
my
look like?
horse. There's my horse.
Oh, I don't remember.
There's my
It's
girl
probably
right there.
really bad.
Oh, so
Looking
here's
at
what
a
mine
unicorn
looks like. I just super fast. So while
so cute.
yeah, I'm like gesture like, okay, let's do it. So while we're doing that, I'm gonna ask you about like bigger, deeper questions. So all of our panelists are really excellent at creating really wonderful, unique characters that feel real. So what are some of the things that you do to create memorable, vibrant characters that stand out, especially when you're drawing a lot of people? Like I know Magdalena and Elizabeth, you guys have like a huge cast. Actually, Yesenia too, in your book Stella's Stellar Hair. You guys all have a stellar, giant cast of people, characters. What do you do to make your, especially your main characters, stand out? We'll start with you, Yesenia. Oh,
So
I
what
love
I
it.
like,
I love it.
I'm trying to remember like how I used to do this because I did this so often.
All right,
But
cool.
so how I make characters stand out is first and foremost starting with like their looks, their appearance, like what they're wearing, because I feel like fashion is something that is a really great way for people to express themselves and what they are into, like if they want to keep things classy or want to, you know,
And time's up for the
show.
horse, by the way. Time's up for your horse.
Okay. Well,
so your method of creating standout characters is especially using fashion. I'm gonna say color too, because you
color
use,
too. Well, like that they play a role together, honestly.
yes, definitely, definitely. What about you, Magdalena? For your characters, how do you make your MC stand out in a huge crowd?
Yeah, I think color primarily. So, like in I Wish You Knew, there's this really beautiful backstory of like Estrella and her dad planting sunflower seeds together and like
Mhm.
watching them grow. And so, sunflowers and the color yellow just seemed like an important thread through the story. And so when I was designing Estrella, I decided that she would be the only character to wear yellow, and she has different outfits throughout the book, but she's the only character. They all have some, bright yellow component to them. So your eye, I feel like, is drawn
You created a
to
key,
her,
like a key color. That's super clever. Very, very clever.
like a
And then
key color.
Elizabeth? Oh, sorry.
No, that was it. Yeah.
Cool. I think I definitely draw like their hair. Like hairstyles are very key to each character, and like trying to make each body shape very different from each other. Like I think it's easy to accidentally draw all your characters looking the same or like having the same body. So like trying to make sure they all are different, and like I draw a lot of like expressive poses, like trying to think about like what their personality is like. So drawing their kind of like personality like poses helps me get
That's
into
really cool. So the gestural shape, like the overall shape of their
yeah.
posture and their movements. All right, everybody, show your horses. Ta-da!
It doesn't have a body, but it's cute.
That's
That is the
okay.
most important part, Magdalena. You got
My horse looks like a capybara. That's the next request is a capybara. I'm like, look, it's already dead. Actually, no,
You got
a
it.
capybara. I love capybaras, so I'm ready. Okay, let me put the timer on, y'all. Next drawing is a capybara.
I don't know what that is.
What is a capybara? Oh, it's like a river rat, like a big river rat. Like
Okay.
do you know what a nutria is?
Kind of.
No?
I think I've seen it in a book. I'm just gonna go with my best
Just
guess.
go with
and
what you
I'll just
think it
compare
does. Let's
afterwards.
go like, what is his name? Albrecht Dürer and his rhinoceros. Like whatever you think you may
Yeah.
have heard that it might be, do
Yeah,
it.
we can all
All right.
compare.
Kids at home or kids at school, if you're watching this, capybara, do your best. Look it up later. All right. Starting the timer now. All right. So, okay. And while we're drawing capybaras, how do you know when a character you've drawn wants to be more than just a sketch? And I'm going to start with Magdalena.
Yeah, so I think usually I know when they keep appearing in my sketchbook in some way, shape, or form. or it's like a character that I can't get out of my mind, or like sometimes it's unknowing. Like I'll just flip through sketchbook pages and notice that certain characters, even though they might have different physical features, they have like the same outfit that they're wearing or a similar expression. And then I'm like, oh, I think this is just the same character that I've been drawing in different ways. And I think they're like trying to tell me something.
They keep coming at you. Oh my God, I know that feeling. Like they're calling out your name.
Mhm.
What about you, Elizabeth? Oh, yeah, me too. I'm like done.
I think usually I'll draw like characters in my sketchbook and kind of let them like live there for a while and like sit. And then if I find that I get ideas for them over time. Like if I'm like in the car, I spend a lot of time driving because I commute a lot. And if I start having ideas, like, oh, that girl, she would definitely love like pizza, or like, just an example. They'll start gathering kind of like stories over time. And finally I come back and I'm like, I know exactly what you're going to do. And then I kind of go from there.
All right, time's up on our capybaras, and then I'll actually, Yesenia, go ahead and answer that one. How do you know a character's ready to be more?
Well, I think it's when I'm starting to be able to like see them in different scenarios and like build out like, adventures for them and stories and whatnot. Like that's when it's like, okay, like maybe we should be something more than just this thing I drew in my sketchbook or on a post-it note real quick.
Yes, sometimes for me it takes years. Like I will have, like I've had drawings in my sketchbook for years ago, and then I'll come back and like, oh, hey, you. Oh, wait, I know what you should be. And you let your imagination run wild. All right, capybara time. Let's see these Elizabeth. Wow.
I don't know. It's just like a
Wow.
sleeping kind of with like eyes and a tail. So
Wow. Esa orejita, bien extraña. Those ears are very unique. Here's my
oh, that's so cute.
my kawaii style capybara. Magdalena, déjame ver. I want to see.
Mine's kind of like a sad, bored capybara.
I
Aw,
love it.
looks like a little bear. How cute. Yesenia, yours is adorable. I can already see it from here. Super, super cute. I love it. Yours is proud.
Yes.
Yeah.
I also love capybaras. Like a really good friend of mine also really loves capybaras. So
You already
like
knew.
yeah.
That's
It's like
amazing.
little stars coming out like, look at me. I'm ready for your river walk. I love it. Okay, let's see what we've got next. So, are there any audience requests? Oh, favorite food. That's a good one. Oh man, that's hard. Can we do favorite foods with an S? Yeah, let's do favorite
Yeah.
foods with an S because that's hard to just do one.
Yeah.
I
Okay,
mean, my favorite foods change.
mine.
so
Well, for me,
often.
I have favorite like entree, like favorite dessert, right? Like favorite breakfast. Like there's so many different things. Oh my gosh, so hard. All right, I'm gonna start the timer, and then we can just go. I'll start with favorite breakfast. You all do what you want. And then in the meantime, think about this one. What is your favorite way to get to know your characters, which we kind of touched upon in the previous one. So, Yesenia, how do you get to know your characters?
For me, it ends up being when I start writing things for them. And more often than not, I start my stories with the writing before I draw, just because I know that I can get really carried away with just drawing forever and not really knowing, like, what am I doing with this? Like, there are a lot of characters that I've drawn that's like, you don't have a name, you exist. You're here in my sketchbook, but I don't know what you do. Sometimes I color them too.
Oh, very
but
sweet.
For me, like fleshing out a character is more often than not done in the writing phase, where I see like, okay, like maybe they can be this, maybe they're into, baseball, maybe they're into flying on dragons.
Very cool. And you won't know until, you get a chance to
Yeah, and the best characters are the ones that like it feels like they write themselves.
Nice. And those are the best ones. I had one book come out like that, meaning like fully formed. Yeah, that never happens to me. All right, time is up for our favorite food. How do you get to know your characters, Magdalena, and then show us your interesting breakfast thing afterward?
Yeah, so I try to do some written profiles on some of the characters. So I'll just try to delve into like these details that you might not see in the or that wouldn't come through in the illustrations, but I think that like inform like how they move across the page. So I'll like even write out, what does their room look like, or what's their favorite food, or what are their favorite colors, and then like half of those details will make it into the character design, but the other half make it
They're
in
for
some
you.
small way.
Yeah, they're for you. I know that's really cool. I feel really similar. Some characters do that for me, like make me want to do that for them too. Elizabeth, what about you?
I think a couple of things. First, I'll draw like a character expression sheet while I'll like pick like really like I don't know like interesting feelings for them. So like timid or like surprised or different things, and I'll try to draw them in those different expressions. So kind of get to know them visually, but also I talk about them with like my partner or my best friend and just describe them to my friend or my partner. And the more I talk about them, the more I feel like I get to know them, and like the personality kind of comes out while I'm talking almost. So
That's
yeah.
really cool. That's really cool. A dialogue with your character. That's really neat.
Yeah.
Okay, breakfast foods. I'm super curious. I'm gonna go to Magdalena first because I want to know what that is. Like, what is it? A man with a fish?
Okay, so I really love salmon in any form. So like lox on bagels or just like roasted salmon for dinner, but it seemed kind of morbid. Like I just gave it a hug. It's me.
Oh, that's so sweet. That is so sweet. I love it. I love it so much. Oh my God. I love it so much. Give the salmon a hug day. They should have one of those days. Yesenia, what about you?
So I thought we were just doing favorite foods in general.
Yeah, it could be favorite food in
Because
general.
like breakfast is even harder choice.
Oh,
Like,
is it? Okay, sorry.
Yeah, it's a much harder choice for me. But my favorite food is actually like pineapple fried rice. But
Nice.
I didn't know how to make that interesting.
Oh.
So I went with like the closest thing, which is like omu rice, which is like a fried egg over like fried rice. It's still a
Yummy.
fried rice dish.
Yes, it's
Still
hard
delicious.
it is so hard to make. I know. Has anybody else had to illustrate rice in at all? Like, it's hard to make it look interesting and delicious. Like,
Yeah.
it's hard.
That's so true. It just looks like a glob.
Gray, white, brown, red, blob. Or like if it's black beans and rice too. It just looks. Anyway, I understand the struggle, but it looks delicious. Elizabeth, what about yours?
So I just drew 4 favorite foods just in general. Lasagna, I can eat anytime, any day. It's so good. Arepas, which is like I'm Colombian,
yummy.
so like I grew up with arepas with like every meal. Tostones and flan.
Oh, hey, I got a flan over here too. Where is it? I love flan and yogurt with fruit. That was my easiest one because I always eat almost the same thing every day for breakfast because I hate having to choose. Oh yeah, a question. What are arepas? In my fake what are arepas?
arepas. They're like kind of like a side dish, like bread almost. It's kind of like you put like a corn flour and like you mix it with water and it makes like a paste, and then you flatten it like in a ball, and then you flatten it, and then you fry it like on a grill. Or a griddle.
Yep, I've had them. They're delicious. Hard to explain. And then lox, for students, they may not know what lox are. It's salmon that's been like dried like jerky, sort of, in that same smoked kind of way. And then you put it on delicious cream cheese and bagel. Super delicious. And then the omu rice, Yesenia already explained pretty much what it is. But there's a lot of regions that have the fried egg on rice. It's so good. Yeah. It's super good. Anyway, now I'm super hungry. But I had my yogurt, so I'm good. Oh, okay. I thought she said machete at first. Okay, can you draw a frog, monkey, or an archer?
In that order?
So, I don't know if we have to draw all 3. I think it's an or. But I would love it if we could combine a frog or a monkey. Those are the choices. And an archer. So make a character that is a frog or a monkey and an archer. And this one I'm going to give us 2 minutes because, hello, that's 2 things, right? It's like two elements.
Okay.
So a frog archer or a monkey archer? An archer is someone who, if for students at home, is someone who shoots arrows for a living, I guess, or for a hobby.
Mhm.
Is that a profession? I don't know, but I'm not gonna knock it. So, all right, let me put the timer on. A monkey archer or a frog archer. And then my next question would be to think about while we're drawing this, as if we don't have enough to do, is have any of your characters or illustrations ever gotten you in trouble with friends or family? Ooh, I hear a puppy.
Oh yeah, that's my dog Ponyo. He's just
So cute, super cute. So have any of your characters or illustrations ever gotten you in trouble with friends or family? And the first one I'm going to start with is Magdalena.
I don't think for a while. When I was younger, I really loved drawing pigs. I wouldn't even draw humans, but I would draw like my friends and family like in pig form. So I think that went off. Like that didn't always go down super well. But yeah, recently, I think mostly like people are just kind of flattered if you put them in your illustration in some way, shape, or form, and they know that anything you draw is going to be like inspired by them, not necessarily of them exactly. So
Got it. My brother used to get in trouble all the time, actually. So I didn't really get in trouble from drawing people, but my brother did. He loved to do caricatures of his teachers, and they were not nice. They were not nice. Students, I don't recommend that you share these kinds of drawings with your teachers. So there's my advice for you. But it did show that both of us actually love to draw people. So next up for troublemaking drawings, Elizabeth.
Oh yeah, actually I have an example from my current book because I drew my mom with like a really short like pixie haircut. I'm just trying to find a good example.
And was she like, por qué?
Yeah, so it's hard to show it, but yeah, this is her haircut. It's really short, and she's never had her hair like that. She's like long, beautiful locks, but I wanted her to be different from like a character design perspective from the girls, from the children, and so I showed it to her, and she was like, "Why did you do my hair like that, God?" And I was like, "Oh no, it's Audrey Hepburn, okay? You look just like Audrey Hepburn." And then she was like, "Oh, okay." And
love it. Magdalena, time's up for your frog archer.
Oh, sorry.
Archer. It's okay.
I missed that too.
That's exactly it. So I'm with the book that I'm doing now, I know that I'm gonna get trouble for it because whatever. I'm not even gonna say anything. Let my family figure it out. But even drawing animals. What about you, Yesenia?
I wasn't a cool kid when I was growing up. I kind of stuck to like drawing like the S's that you make with like the 6 lines and whatnot before I could actually draw people.
Yeah, I'll do it for kids because they might not know what you're talking about, but I'll do it. She's talking about this. When we were kids, we used to draw this all the time. We would draw that. Yes, I don't know why.
Yeah, like it had no rhyme or reason.
Oh, yeah.
It existed. It was an easy thing that everyone could do.
Yeah. Yeah. So you never got really in trouble except for because you were just doing lettering essentially.
I was doing that, and when I would draw people, like I was drawing like friends or family, like they were kind of stick figures, obviously. But
that's so sweet though. Let's see these frog archers or monkey archers. Am I the only one that chose monkey?
I think you're the only one that did monkey.
Okay, well, mine
I thought
is a monkey
everyone
archer.
else was gonna go for the monkey, so I went with the frog.
I just went with what I like to draw. I like drawing both frogs and monkeys, though. So, oh my God, that's beautiful. All of you all did such a beautiful job. I love them so much. Magdalena, can I see yours up close?
Yeah, it's
Cute.
but it's okay. You see the bow. I was gonna draw there.
Yes, it looks like he's about to teach someone how to string his bow. That's so sweet. What about you, Magdalena? I mean, sorry, I did Magdalena already. Elizabeth?
Oh, I did mine. He's just like he just shot the arrow, and he has a little medal here because he's in the Olympics for archery.
Oh, cool. That's
and
right.
He just won the gold. So,
nice.
You know,
nice. So he's like, nice. What about you, Yesenia?
I was going for a more Robin Hood look. I forgot his quiver. I was gonna
Love
just
it.
like toss some trees in the back, but like we're out of time. So
Oh, she's ready to go into the setting. I love that so much. Oh my goodness. Okay, do we have any oh, here we go. All right, since we're in December, could you draw a Santa's elf doing something funny? No, I'm just
funny
kidding.
is
It just says funny. Funny straight
subjective.
ahead. I know funny is very subjective, isn't it? Yesenia, any ideas? Funny.
It depends on the audience.
Right? Okay, so we have a student audience. So funny definitely has to be student oriented. We're not going to do anything, naughty or too naughty. But I think my elf might be doing something a little bit naughty. We'll see if I can get it done on time. All right, and my question for you all while we're doing this is if you had to choose one drawing tool to take with you on a long voyage, what would you bring? And I'm going to start with Elizabeth on that one.
Oh, I just have it right here. It's for sure this Japanese fountain pen. It's called a platinum carbon ink pen.
Ooh,
It's like
pretty.
really thin, fine tip.
Ooh, I'm such a sucker for pens.
It's great. It's like waterproof ink. So if I have markers or watercolor, I can always draw over it and paint over it. And it's like really beautiful, expressive line work. So that's what I would take.
Cool. I'm always looking for like nice pens or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
I am a big fan of jet pens. I feel like I should get some royalties or whatever, some kickbacks for mentioning them a lot because I love their pens so much.
So good.
Okay, so naughty elf in progress. Drawing tool, your ride or die drawing tool, Yesenia.
I guess if it's only one, then I'd keep things simple and just bring a ballpoint pen. Just because that's something that you can use to draw on like everything.
True.
And so it means that you're not really limited to like, oh, like I didn't bring a sketchbook or something. Like you still have some sort of utensil that's also a little bit permanent so that you have to be a lot more intentional with the marks that you make.
Mm-hmm.
As opposed to if you'd have a pencil and then it's like, oh, I can erase and like do things over again.
Yeah.
Which is still pretty cool.
It is. Well, it's kind of like what we're doing here, though. You really can't. I feel like you can't. I mean, you can think about what you're doing, but you have to be very intentional because every line matters. Like we don't really have time to erase or at least I don't. I'm drawing with like oil pastel, so there's nothing that I can do. I'm like, it's like the thickest, darkest thing that I had. So like I had to choose quickly and wisely. Okay, so Magdalena, best tool ever. Favorite tool?
Yeah.
Oh, our time is up. Our time is up for this one.
Yeah, I think I would just go with a simple drawing pencil that had an eraser attached to it. I wish I was like one of those illustrators who could just, draw with a pen or draw without any mistakes. But I mean, I've seen it and it's
really.
I'm
like who?
But I need an eraser and I like simplicity. I think at the end of the day, like I like to experiment and with lots of colors and different materials, but I always come back to a pencil.
Pencil with an eraser, and that's something that I feel like most people have access to is pencil and eraser, which is awesome. Okay, so my naughty elf is breaking into a present and taking out a teddy bear.
Oh,
not
cute.
Cool, bro. Not cool. All right, let's see what you all did. I want to see. Yesenia, tell me what's happening.
So I felt bad about not picking the monkey, so I made the elf swinging off at the bridge with a monkey.
I love it. I love it. So like, I'll play with you. So he's monkeying around instead of doing his work in the workshop. That's totally cool. Actually, he might have been on a 15-minute union break, so we'll give him that. Elizabeth, I have an idea of what's happening in yours, and I love it.
Yeah. These are three elves standing on top of each other pretending to be Santa.
Oh!
Like, Santa did not show up for like Santa time, so they're like, we got this covered.
Oh my God. Magdalena, I have a feeling I know what happened to yours.
Yeah, very similar to yours, Adriana. But
I like the way you drew it. I love the way you drew it because he's in there. He's in deep.
Yeah. he's like cave living in there. So
I love it. Oh my gosh, that is hilarious. Okay. So we have 15 minutes left of our session. So I want to make sure that we get I think we have student questions, but then I have one last question for you all while we're doing oh yeah, here's a question from Zachariah, 7th grader from Massachusetts. Can you draw an astronaut in outer space? That's awesome. I love it so much. I love drawing things in space, and for this one, I'm going to make it one of my favorite characters that I like to draw in space. I'm going to start the timer now. Go ahead. And my question for you all is, can you talk to students how your life experiences have influenced or inspired your characters and how you capture beauty in your art? We'll start with Yesenia.
Can you repeat the question?
How have your life experiences influenced the way you capture beauty in your art?
Well, so for me, I make it a point to really focus on hair in my illustrations, in the sense that I like making them full of different like colors and lines to really give it life in a way that makes it aesthetically pleasing, but also just like fun to look at, fun to, you know,
engaging
see as part see as part of the character, because a lot of the time I draw a lot of characters with curly hair because I didn't really see as much of that growing up, and I didn't really see myself with curly hair growing up either.
Yeah, I think a lot of us had the same thing as you, where our moms, like my mom would straighten my hair with an iron as well, and she even dyed it. She dyed my hair blonder. I don't know why. She thought I should be blonder. But I love that about you, the like mission, like your mission seems to be about beauty and self-love.
Yeah, just because I didn't really see as much of it as a kid. I didn't really see as much people that like looked like me in a lot of the media I was consuming, because I stuck to watching lots of anime or like cartoons.
Yeah, that's legit. That's totally legit. Our timer went off for that one. After Yesenia, I had Magdalena. Like, how have your life experiences influenced how you captured beauty?
I mean, I've drawn a lot from like my family history in some of my illustrations, especially when I was beginning, which is why some of my earlier illustrations had a lot of like themes about immigration and farm working and agricultural labor. And I think I still do draw on those, but I also I feel like had a really rich childhood, kind of like full of art and lots of trips to Mexico where, you're just kind of filled with imagery and colors. And I feel like I'm starting to see how that's kind of made its way into my work, even without me sort of consciously thinking about it. So I think there's a lot of ways that I'm like aware of and unaware of, and how like my family history and childhood memories have come into my work. So.
Excellent. What about you, Elizabeth?
Wait, can you repeat the question?
Is how have your life experiences influenced how you capture beauty in your art, or like how you express beauty?
Yeah. I definitely try to have like a wide range of like body types and body shapes and sizes. Like I'm plus size, and there are a lot of like women in my family that have different body types. And I think I just didn't see that as beautiful or as normal in media when I was growing up. But it's really important for me to represent that. And also like the representing the truth of like not finding yourself beautiful or interesting, and kind of the journey, like a lot of my characters kind of go through that journey of like finding their identity and finding their like confidence in themselves. Like
yeah, Geraldine, your book Geraldine really was a great example of that. I thought that was really a really beautiful journey. And let's see who we drew in space, and then next we have a request, and then we have student questions. So he wants King Kong, but in the meantime, let's see what you drew in space. I drew Mrs. Claus in space. Which is really hard to do in black and white. I feel like you can't quite tell that it's Mrs. Claus, but it's Mrs. Claus. she gets to be an astronaut. What about you, Elizabeth? I see someone very interesting and unique in space.
Yeah, this is an elephant in space. She has a like fun shaped like space helmet, and she's just loving being on the moon.
Excellent. Love it. What about you, Magdalena?
So I was trying to kind of go for like a Little Prince themed.
I saw it. I immediately thought it was the Little Prince. I'm like,
yeah, I wanted to get the suit right. Not quite, but next time.
Love it. Yesenia, what about you?
I mean, it's just like a small boy like floating in space. I didn't get to like draw other things for him like stars.
And
like,
I know
maybe
you
he had
love
a little
space.
star friend.
Oh.
Maybe, but no time.
No, maybe I know, and you love. I know you love space. So, okay, we have student questions. Should we do the student questions first, or should we? Oh, okay. Oh, okay. Someone wants to add it. Godzilla versus King Kong. All right. So let's do. Okay, let's do the student question, and then we'll do King Kong while we're drawing. So, okay. So the drawing prompt is Godzilla versus King Kong. And then the question is, ¿qué es lo que más te gusta sobre crear libros? What is it that you love the most about making books? And this is from Sophia A.I. from 5th grade in Maryland. So, ¿qué es lo que más te gusta sobre crear libros? All right. I feel like there's a lot to talk about there. We can start with, let's start with Yesenia. What do you love most about making books? And then we're doing Godzilla versus King Kong. Sorry to repeat.
Yeah. So for me, I really enjoy being able to bring words to life and bring stories to life. That's something that I found that I really enjoy doing from a young age, from when I got really into anime as a kid and started coming up with my own fan fictions. Fortunately, like they're not published on the internet, so you can't find them. But I realized that I really enjoyed making stories and also drawing characters. So working on books seems to be the perfect marriage of that.
Yeah, definitely. I feel like you found a good place here in the book world. And Magdalena, what about you?
I think it's kind of like the world building you get to do. So you get to kind of be like a character designer and a set designer. And you get to, I think I like have a lot of different interests when it comes to art. And with picture books, you get to really explore all of that and tap into all of these different creative interests that you have.
That is also why I love. That's why I love it. And then Elizabeth, what about you?
I think I love like being able to think about books that would have helped me as a kid and trying to make those books like come into the world. And like ever since my books being published, like hearing from people that say that like they cried reading the book, or they felt so seen, or they felt so recognized in my work, like that's just amazing, and like it makes me so happy.
Oh, I love that. We have time for one more student question. I'm going to give you guys 10 more seconds, or gals, to finish. So I'm going to give you 10 seconds to finish your Godzilla versus King Kong. Student question is, how do you stay true to the culture while still being yourself? From Eliana, 4th grade, Philadelphia, Pennsylvania. Let me tell you, Eliana, that is one of the challenges that we face a lot, because we are constantly towing the line between trying to please, or not please, but like trying to make books that sell at the same time as being authentic to ourselves. So, all right, I'll start with you, Elizabeth, for that one.
Stay true to the culture.
Yeah, staying true to your culture.
Oh, yeah. I think
while still being yourself. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. I think that's hard. Like I'm especially with my own identity, I'm biracial, and I've like had a trouble trying to like fit myself into the world of like Latinidad in general. So I think I found like a good kind of middle ground now, where I feel like every part of my identity is part of myself, and I feel like way more comfortable just being myself in my work and being true to myself, you know.
Yeah. Yesenia. Oh. Yesenia, what do you have to respond to that about being true to yourself while also being, I guess, authentic to our culture?
Well, I as an Afro Latina, it's a little different for me because I don't really see much of myself represented in a lot of media, not in like traditional like American media, but also not even in like, Latin American media either, where like the telenovelas, like if you saw someone that looked like me, they were either a maid or the villain.
Yep.
So for me, I want to try and uplift people that are from different backgrounds. Like in my book, Stella's Stellar Hair. So one thing that I really wanted to make it a point of was to make sure that like all of the aunties' names were all like very like beautiful Spanish women names, despite them having all like darker skin or just a range of skin colors in general. Because I wanted it to be a lot more normalized that people that look like me can also be of Latin American descent.
Absolutely. Absolutely. In my own family, we have the whole range of colors. So Magdalena, what about you?
Yeah, I think it's something I'm like trying to navigate, and I think I've gotten better at it over the past couple of years. I'm still pretty new to this, but I think part of it is just like knowing what feels right in my gut, and like knowing when I should like speak up, and having kind of like the courage and confidence to do that with whoever, with an author, an editor, when I'm like, oh, this doesn't sit right with me, or might do something different. Yeah, I think it's still like a learning process for me.
But it takes courage to do what you just said, to say, hey, this doesn't sit right with me. That takes courage, because I feel like a lot of us are trained to be like, everything is okay, like we'll be okay, like okay, yes, yes, we'll say yes to anything. But like, I think that takes a lot of courage, and I love that you said that. Like when something doesn't sit right with you, especially when it's coming to having to do with representation of our culture, I think that's important for us to be able to say like, actually, that's not quite right, or like, actually, I do have Afro Latinas in my family. Like, oh, we do look like this. We look like everybody. Okay, so we have time for one more student question. Before we get to that, let's see what you did for Godzilla versus King Kong. Mine are sharing a cake. So
Cute.
two of my favorite characters, by the way. So what? Oh, yeah, it is a superpower. What about you, Yesenia? I see boxing gloves, perhaps.
Yeah, they're boxing gloves. I could not like for the life of me remember how King Kong looks, even though I was on like the ride not too
Oh
long
my
ago at Universal.
Oh my god. He looks like he has a helmet or like a face shield on, a protective face shield, which, maybe he's protecting his teeth.
Gotta stay safe. Also,
Yes.
we're still in a pandemic.
Safety first. What about you, Elizabeth? What did you draw?
I drew King Kong like hiding on the top of like the Empire State Building, and the Godzilla's really annoyed that he won't come down, like because they're supposed to fight. He's like, "Please get down here." And he's like, "No, I'm staying here. I'm good." So
Excellent. Magdalena?
Yeah, so I was gonna draw them fighting, but then they both seem to have these friendly faces.
Aw.
And so
Maybe they're dancing.
they're dancing instead.
Yes,
Yeah.
excellent. And our last student question is, how long have you been drawing for? From Christian V, 7th grade, Massachusetts. So how long have you been drawing for? If it's like a single digit, you can show on your hands. Yesenia, how long have you been drawing? I feel like for a lot of us, it's our whole life.
Yeah. I couldn't put like an exact number, like probably since I like started school, because I was that kid that would draw on their notes instead of paying attention in class. Don't do that though. Pay attention in school, please.
We're at the 5-minute mark, so I'm gonna cut you off just a little bit earlier. Sorry, Elizabeth. How about you? Drawing?
Yeah, I think I started drawing like seriously in middle school. Before that, I drew, but like just I didn't think of myself as a drawer. But in middle school, I was like, I'm an artist. So yeah.
I'm an artist.
Yeah,
I definitely did not. I did not have that kind of self. Magdalena?
Yeah, I think probably, since I started school too, I always loved art. I did take a big gap of a few years after college when I didn't draw, and then came back to illustration kind of full force. So
Yesenia, did you draw continuously, or did you have a gap too? Because I feel like you went into toy design or product design in there, but you're still drawing.
Yes, yeah. So I was drawing like my whole life. When I went to college, I studied illustration and then like transferred majors to like toy design, and then came back around a couple years after graduating to illustration by doing books. So it kind of came full circle.
Nice, nice. I took a break. I was a teacher for a couple of years and then I went back, but I went back to design school, industrial design. And then I ended up not using, I definitely drew a lot, but I didn't really go into product design. But then I started painting and haven't stopped since. Okay, I think maybe we have time for one more request. Are there any prompts out in the audience? We're like cutting it close. Okay, cool. A request by George, a seventh grader. Oh, can you draw an emoji that looks like you? Okay, mine will be very easy because I feel like I have like long nose. All right. All right, it's gonna just be a stick. All right, here we go. Time's up. Time's on. We have 1 minute and 40 seconds for this one. So we can be sure to do our closing. All right, so here's my emoji. Actually, I feel like we can do this one in less than that, right? It's an emoji. It's an emoji. All right. Like your do we do hair or no hair? What do you say? Hair? No. Oh, is that Elizabeth? Are you done?
I just drew like a real emoji, but okay.
What are those eyes? What's
No, I'm
happening?
trying to do the one that's like.
Oh, the puppy
No,
eyes. You need
that's like-
white. You need white to do the
Oh,
glossy.
yeah,
like...
yeah. I don't have any white.
Dang it.
I'm scared.
Dang it.
I need to look insane. But
I have crazy eyebrows, so I just did my eyebrows.
cute.
Oh my gosh. Magdalena, let me see yours up close.
I did that emoji that's like,
Oh, how cute.
that's like the one that's like smacking their head. Like, don't like,
Yeah.
why did I do that? So
I love it. Yesenia?
It's the one that does this. Where like where the lady is just like doing that with their hands. That's the one that I want.
I love it. So mine is I should do, you know what? I should do side eye. And Elizabeth, so you wanted to do cutie puppy eyes.
Yeah.
Here we do side eye.
Yeah.
All right. And our time is up. Okay. How much time do we have left though? I feel like we're done. Oh my gosh, we're so close. Okay. So yeah, we've got to do our closing and stuff like that. Okay. Thank you all so much for drawing with me today. And thank you for being part of the Latinx Kid Lit Book Festival. So any drawings that you all did at home, this is for the audience. Any drawings that you all did, please share them with us with the hashtag LKBF2021 so we can find and admire and share them. Gracias a todos. Bienvenidos to the other sessions. And thank you so much for being here. Muchísimas gracias. Thank you for watching this draw off, which was called Chicas Maravillosas at the Latinx Kid Lit Book Festival. I wish you all a great weekend. Ciao. And I think we're done. I don't know. Are we still live? If not, do you want to draw another emoji?